understand.
From many distant lands, our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up a telephone and call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, any issue trending in Grenada. And you know, we never back down from politics. But you can introduce your own subject matter and you can change what we're speaking on anytime. The number to call is 4420175. And we're on Facebook and YouTube and Style Radio 92.2. And you can always call us on Real FM 4420179. Yeah. So let us go. You could pick up the telephone and give us a call. One of the issues trending, sometimes you have issues with children are ill-disciplined and have to have encounter with the police and the law. And we gone and we make a big noise about it, and rightly so. Whenever we see ill-disciplined actions, we have a right to speak. We also have to be mindful that anytime you live at your home, you're in the public space. You're under the scrutiny of telephones and camera. If you're in England, you will be CT scan. And if you enter a supermarket in Grenada today or in most countries in the world, you will be under the camera. So we live in a different world. You're in the public domain every time you walk out of your bedroom. And that is if you and your wife have good relationship. Otherwise, she's taping you in the bedroom too. Because she's building a case against you for abuse, or if you're cussing her, if you drink your rum and you come home and you normally just deny what you say, she's going to keep you on record. If something happens, some incident happens in the public, before efforts is made to rescue you, people want to post. So when you have an incident in Grenada, particularly with a school child, all cameras out. But I do not believe the majority of children in Grenada is ill-disciplined. In fact, I believe it is less than 10% of the children that go to school that we have serious discipline challenges. Less than 10%. So when incidents happen, we must always try not to blow it out of proportion. You know, some religious organizations say the world go end. You see what the children do in the world go end. Let's not blow out situations out of proportion. Because I do not believe that we have more than 10%. It's about 10% or lower of the children that goes to school that have serious challenge with discipline, whether it is with teachers or with the public or the bus drivers or with the police. Less than 10. The majority of children in Grenada are generally well disciplined. In yesteryear, there was more fights in school than today. There was more fights in the village in yesteryear than today. There was more bajon in the villages in yesteryear than today. When you go to a dance in yesteryear, 70s, 80s, you almost generally always have a fight in a dance. Today, there are less incidents of it, but they are more reporting. As soon as an incident starts, somebody pick out a telephone and they're taping what's going on. And because of technology, people in China or Australia could know. We must recognize that. But we must not be panicky or believe because you have one or two of these incidents popping up anytime, every now and then, that we are a lawless place. And sometimes I feel we blanketly blame our children for ill discipline when the majority of them are trying. I say that against the background. I always like to have conversation with children here. I like to talk to children, the boys and the girls. And I always have conversation with the girls. And a lot of men of my age who in the twilight of their life and they're waiting in the departure lounge, they don't like to talk to young girls in the public because people might believe their intention is disingenuous. So I have a field day because I'm always in conversation with them to find out some basic information. You see, it's always important to do some research so that you could have the courage of your conviction. My research is not to do a thesis, not to write a book, but for me to have the courage of my conviction. So when I'm speaking, I could challenge you. If what I'm saying is not the truth, then prove me wrong. And I could inform you that it is my opinion. And people's opinion is prejudice. And the opinion is based upon the information that they have. So let me say that better. The opinion that you express is based upon your own prejudice and the information that you get. So my opinion is not cast in stone. If I have new information, I change in my opinion. So when we see incidents of disrespect or misbehavior among children, we must ask ourselves, what can we do to address the issue? That must always be on our mind. Solutions. It's not about just running around with the problem on our head. What is the solution? And today I want to provoke some discussion on that issue. I always ask if these children go to church. And it does not mean that children who don't go to church don't behave badly. Even the devil could cite scripture for its purpose. But in most instances, I ask the question, is these children going to church on a regular basis? Are they involved in any groups in the school? And you know you're going to come back with a no, because over the last 4 years, teachers in Grenada on Walk to Rule, they declared war on children and they abandoned all groups, parent-teachers meeting, etc., etc. I said then it's a declaration of war. And in 5 to 10 years, we're going to see the result of the action. But you could ask the very question, what groups children are in? Because groups in school influence seriously the discipline of children. The Scouts, the Girl Guides, 4-H clubs, cultural groups, music clubs, hiking clubs. Remember, we have a lot of young boys, testosterone jumping up in their body. They reach the age of puberty. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre,
Yes,
good
caller, welcome.
afternoon. Mr. Pierre, sometimes when things happen, with age group of children or age group of people, you know what we as adults quick to do? As I said, we stand around and we watch two-person fight. Where we could have go and try to put peace as to separating children. We quickly go and take a picture and put it on Facebook. And something that the young people demonstrated in society. Even the adults doing the same thing, right? I always say to adults, we have children, and our children don't only we don't only have to care and to try to protect our children. We have, if we say we love our children and the future of tomorrow is the youth, we have to protect each and everyone. When we go somewhere, we see a young man behaving bad, right? It's something watching him get done. Could we go simply go to the person and say, young man, could I just have a word with you? Right? And so now, not how you approach it, so when you approach, you hit fire upon fire. They see that's what you do, but the way you do it. You understand? So then we now have to try to cool on that. And how way we could cool on that is trying to get in children and have counseling children. And even some of the parents need counseling because again, you come back to get the attitude of some parents. There's some parents like the home and the way they will speak to the children. And when they speak like kind of negative, they always violence with their children. What happened? The children want to portray, always want to speak violence. You know, something like you go tell a man, you go tell a young man before they go, I would bust him out. And you know what they consider as nothing. I would do that. But right now, when people tell something to say, if we can't go do it here. You understand? But we see, I always say we don't have to look what we have to look at, what how we could solve the problem. And I really want to be someone, an agent of solving problems and an agent of creating problems. As they say, you have something, but before you have something, I really better to prevent than to cure. Because the onset prevention is better than for a cure. Right? And not every child in society that is disrespectful. There are majority of the young people in Grenada are very respectful children. There is some, and even the adults, they have a lot of adults that are very disrespectful. Same thing the young people portray, they do the same thing. The same thing. Right? So let us do this. Except for one thing I want to say again, okay, no, like two something happened. Like you have a young boy excel is like against the extracurricular regime. And a crime committed in the country. You know what is the front page? The crime committee in the country. And you find currently excel, he may go out where they win a gold medal, you may find it quite in the middle of a newspaper. So I am saying, let us don't bash as adults, let us don't bash these young people. Let us try to work, see how we could come together as adults to try to solve the problem. And not only solve the problem with the youth, even some of the adults. So, Mr. Pierre, have a good day.
Yes, thank you, caller. I think it's important to find out what groups the children are. Are they in 4-H? You have a number? Well, I don't know. Again, you say that guardedly because I don't know the teachers have abandoned group, but maybe what we need in our community is groups. The young males, once they reach, yes, caller, welcome.
Sir,
Yes, caller, welcome.
um, where do I start?
Start in the middle.
All right, good. Because the fact is that when you ask the lady how many children she said she has 5 kids. Yeah? How many children you have? I have 5 kids. And this is a problem for me, Mr. Pierre, because there was a time when we had children. Now we have kids. And the truth is that when you went to the field to change the animal, the young sheep, we used to call them lambs. But the young goats, we used to call them kids. When the children start behaving like goats now, what do you call them? The children behaving badly? No. Start. You tell me to start from the middle. I think I start from the beginning now. Let us treat them as children. Yes? They're not kids. They are children. Lady, you did not make young goats. You made children. See them as children. So, the conversation you started with was the incident that I heard about that took place on the bus stand with a young boy or so. And it wasn't a young kid, it was a young boy or student. And then the way he behaved. And I heard about the way the police responded. However, I knew there was a time when in the training, they taught us how to subdue people like that. And what the first thing you do, you put them on the ground. Yes? Don't be afraid to dirty his clothes. Let him go home and wash his clothes. Put him on the ground and control him from there. And I think the policemen, the training, I think we need to go back to self-defense and those type of training to enable them to subdue the convicts, so to speak, yeah, or those accused. Don't let them embarrass you on the stand like they do, punching you in your face and those type of things that you have to pull out your baton and you have to pull gun and stuff like that. No. Put them on the ground. There's a technique in doing it, and we had that training. One Johnny Madrid. I don't know if you know him. He was an Antiguan, I think he was. He had lost one eye, and he taught us how to subdue those opponents. And I think it's about time that we train our policemen properly. You don't have to hit them. In fact, in America, they don't hit them. They use a taser and deal with them that way. We don't have taser here. But I think what the area could do in our training, put them on the ground, suppress them from there. Thank you.
Yes, scholar, thank you. I think the question always, you're going to have incidents like these in any country from time immemorial. Young men are young men, and you're going to have conflicts. So first, I'm advancing the position that is less than 10% of our young people that have challenges in behavior and ill discipline and likely to get in these situations. But obviously, less than 10% is still too much. But there is no need for us to panic as a people. Perhaps we need to encourage more involvement of our young people in groups and organizations. Teach your children music. Encourage your children to learn to play music. Grenada like jab. Even the prime minister and all playing jab. Although I noticed he was a photogenic jab. He didn't whine. He don't put up his hand in the air. He don't shake. He was just a picture jab. But teach our children to blow the shell. Just by a child learning to blow the shell is an act of discipline. You have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre. Yeah, afternoon, Mr. Pierre. I've been a cop for about 23 years. I left. And I will tell you, I have experienced a lot of problems on the terminal with kids. And parents gotta realize that they cannot and they should not place all of these responsibilities on society, neither on the police. Every parent's got an integral role to play in the development of the kid's life. Everyone, even myself. And kids come to the terminal, especially when school over, and they behave very deviant, very violent. And persons or adults will stand there and they will never intervene. They'll call the police. When the police do come there, even when the police arrive, if for some reason that kid or children start to overpower the police, nobody will never ever intervene to assist the police. And it is just high time that we as parents and as a people and as a society, we need to find our rightful place and deal with the kids. They are not other people's kids. They are not other people's responsibility. They are our kids, and we need to do what we have to do as parents. We should not and cannot let our kids to be corrected by other persons. It is not right. It should not, and it will not. People got to do what they got to. We know there are parents that the people that normally say, well, they are grown they are by themselves. There are no father figure with the mother. But I grew with a single mom, single parent. I was disciplined, and everything that they face poverty now. We face poverty when I was growing up. So there isn't no excuse they are doing. I used to be going to harvest $1, going to school on a daytime 5 cents for break. Some of them they have checkbook, and I believe it's just the fact that parents just let go for kids and don't want to take the responsibility for the children and always want to let other people assume the responsibility for the children. When that responsibility might go out of hand, then you see they comes in and want to sue police, they want to sue other persons, they want to sue. And I look at them, they use kids as a bait to make money. That's my contribution after. Go have a good evening.
Yes, scholar. In things like that, I think the emphasis must be on solutions. First of all, we must not panic because the percentage of the children that are given problems is not very high if it is 10% or lower. And all through mankind, all through history, even when I was in school, you had conflicts. So the question is, what do we do to seriously reduce the incidents? Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, my dear brother.
Yes,
how you
welcome
doing?
to.
Yes. Let me tell you something, brother Pierre. Yeah, children fight as we before, you know. Never. No children fight now as we before. For every evening we fighting. Especially if they go and tell me something man again. Oh, fighting the next evening. But we don't get in and so. And especially we used to fight with Bao people, Bao children. Man, Bao children, we go beat them up and telling you beat is beat. But we fighting with we hand, we don't fighting with battle, man. Nothing. Look, the other day, I hear they have a young boy that the police come, he kicked the police, you know. Eh? Like children, no. Children, no.
So what do you think? What do you think is the solution to prevent children from behaving like that?
You know the solution? You see this vice, they had it, this tablet and this thing they had it. Some of those parents say, no, what movie those children watching? Especially when those children go to sleep, take away the thing from them. Because when you think they're sleeping, they're watching all kind of movie, all kind of thing movie. With this kind of tablet and thing, they give those children to go to school, tablet and everything. And then what, let me tell you, when you hear you walking before time, you get 10 boys, you get 10 girls. And those boys are then going to look for the fruits for us, the mango, whatever it is. And they had the little thing in the pocket, in the bag, to peel the mango. At that time, he didn't have water to wash mango. They had a little knife in the bag and they go to school. When they in school over now, they peel the mango, give us. Because you can't get water to wash the mango. They peel it and they give us. Fruits, they peel it. That is we. But this year, Lord have His mercy. We have to pray.
Yes, so that is one of the things we could do is to pray and make certain that our children attend churches.
That's
whether it is Catholic, Adventist, Methodist, Muslim, no matter Rastafarian, no matter whatever church.
That's right.
Because no church teach you to give trouble.
Before time.
Yeah.
When you hear parents going to church, you get about 7 community of 7 children, and they putting us in front. Had one day by, and see my grandmother pass, and she don't tell a lady good morning. So we don't tell a lady good morning. No, we don't say good morning. No, we get blows right there.
Yeah, people say don't get involved in big people
one
business.
One of us get blows.
Yeah, don't get involved in big people.
Why you don't say morning? Well, I don't see you say morning, and those children and them say that. No, because you don't know what we have. Children mustn't join in big people things.
But we have to teach them not to do that. Right? So that is important. Yeah.
Yes, so you have a wonderful and a blessed evening. God bless you, brother.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
So effort must be made by all and sundry, not parents alone. There are some children who have no parents. They're living with their grandmother and they're practically in charge. I've heard a number of people say that the parents must monitor the gadgets or the computer. Poor parents. The children smarter in the computer than the parents. Children teaching parents how to use the computer. But we parents have to try more, understand this is an age of technology. As I say again, I believe there should be more groups that children involved in. The Scout group, the Forage. I don't know what is the state of cadets in Grenada, but all these organizations, all these groups teach children discipline. So you would not find maybe a cadet. It might be against the grouping for him to be fighting on the street. I don't know what is the situation with prefects, because school children used to have a fair measure of respect for the prefects out of school. In addition to that, bodybuilding. Maybe some of the communities could start bodybuilding. Swimming group, places like Guave, Maki, all along St. George's, all along the shoreline of Grenada. We should have swim clubs where children are involved in swimming. The boys have a lot of energy, a lot of testosterone jumping up in their body. And then they tend to, yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
As a Christian person, right? When you go out and you're doing Christianity, and you confront the parents and ask them, God have your life, God will keep you, sustain you, right? And God love you. I'm trying to encourage them to give their life to God, right? I encourage them to come take a lead and bring the children to church. You know what this time I tell you? They don't change our clothes. They don't change our clothes. But what if it happening? When it's like you have a fest, like kind of a season, the amount of money they're spending on the young people, on the same children to go and play carnival, to wine and to gyrate. So we didn't train mind, either on the worldly things. So some parents have to take the blame because what they encourage and trying to get involved in, right? As a former soldier, I could say to you, the military, they discipline you. Getting self involved in a lot of groups. You have the forage, then you have the post-boy clubs. All them things is important for young people to get in. And I do believe there's a lot of children want to get involved in that. But you know what happens? Their parents want to get encourage them to get involved. But they go encourage them to get involved in things that will not discipline them. So the parents have to take responsibility. And we cannot say we leave it to society. Because it's begin at home, and the attitude of some parents have a lot to do with how the children operate. Not all, because some children they grow up in a Christian home, but the things they do one day, whether it's like with me, I took the church. I just to go become friends, send me there. You understand? So they know, and so what funny can happen? Some parents they send their children to church and they stay in home. So that's a problem. So, all right, later.
Yes, scholar, thank you. We constantly have to try to come up with suggestions to solve the problems. The music that our children are exposed to or bombarded by on a constant basis also contribute to some negative consequences. Nothing is wrong with any of the music that is played. But if the music is played morning, noon, and night, the music is practically weaponized. And I go back to yesteryear with a brain that is stubborn as mine and other guys in my community. Our mothers always used to be singing sparrow song. When we don't want to go to school, when we don't want to do homework, children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on, you go catch real hell. This song alone was like some punishment for us. Nowadays, what are the songs that are sung with great regularity in the house? You have some songs that say mash up the bar. So if you have a party and the young boys already drink the liquor, principally the boys, but women too, they ask for a moccasin or stout or something in the bar that maybe you have to have big bars to have it. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, I did ask a question, but you didn't pay attention to me.
No, didn't.
I said that you are a West Indian man, you're Caribbean people, but you're not a Dominican, really. How the Prime Minister of that country dissolves his parliament, and the election is due on the 6th of December. What do you take? What are your views? Could you give me some expression? I'm listening to you on the radio. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The interesting thing about our party politics is that the Prime Minister could call election anytime he wants. He cannot pass 5 years after the first sitting of Parliament, but he could call election. A motion of no confidence could move against the Prime Minister at any time to have him, to throw him out of Parliament or cause the Parliament to be dissolved. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre, good afternoon. How are you?
Yes, my brother, welcome. Great, man.
Yeah, I asked a question now, and I'm glad one caller touched on some music. Now, I ain't bashing nobody. I want people to listen. Now, it have busy spaces on close to the road there, busy spaces close to the road. And some of them, the way how they just play the music high, some people, they might even get licked up if they don't even study themselves. Check, I find, in my opinion, whatever, some of them that play the music to high. Because last week, a lady, I think our friend was, I think somewhere was chatting, you know what I mean? So I have to tell her, okay, look, like our vehicle is coming on behind her. Because the music is playing too high, close to the road. Now, it's their business place. They paid for the place. But you see, if it's inside, no problem. But close to the road, you have your business place. Now, I mean, the music just too high for some of the people and them, and even like for the vehicles and them too. So I don't know how you see that. I'm listening to you.
Yes, caller, thank you. Yes, so in a democratic country, government cannot pass laws for everything. It don't really make sense. We have a next caller on the line. Caller, welcome. Yes,
Hello,
caller,
good
welcome.
day. Yeah, good day.
Yeah.
You talked about taking the children to church, but you know, most of the people that go to church in Grenada, they are women. They can't even bring the husband to church. They can't even bring the children to church. But that's the same set of people that will meet you and tell you to come to church, but they cannot. I don't know the reason why they cannot take the children to church. Neither the husband, they cannot take their husband to church. So there is a problem there. So I would like you to address this some.
Yes, that is a pretty
Maybe
interesting.
the children would have been more better if they could take them.
Yes, although
Yeah.
the churches are dominated by the women. I think we have to have a whole program on that. But the women, they say, grow your children in the ways of the Lord. And since we're a Christian church, a Christian people also, I give women the major responsibility for the upbringing of the children. I blame the women. Why do I do that? Because between 0 and 12 years, the woman seems to have the greatest impact in a man's life, in the child's life. 60% of the household in Grenada are led by women. And between 0 and 12 years, generally, the woman spend more time with the child than the man. Here we have some men now that they washing, they cooking, they rocking baby, and they inside the house. But generally, the man between 0 and 12 years, he has limited time with the child. And the child bonds better with the mother. Imagine you have a child for 9 months in your belly, your abdomen, in your womb. Every time the child moves, you have the feelings of it. Sometimes the man only coming after the child born, he coming to see if the child look like him. If the child toe look like his grandfather too. And that is about 10% in the instances. But generally, the woman spend quite a lot of time with the child. So I think all women have to be encouraged to do more. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, sir. I call it something I think about it.
Go ahead.
No, don't get mad with me. Now, why a relationship have to separate a relationship from going to the same church with husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend? No, you going to Tivoli on Saturdays and are going to Paradise or somewhere. Why this have to be happened? Have a good day.
Yes, sometimes the relationships have to go haywire. So they go to different church organization. In most instances, the man cannot manage the relationship. Sometimes the males don't have management. They become emasculated and domesticated for public ridicule. So they're unable to manage the relationship. And then the woman started leading it and all things started to go haywire. But it's very important that we understand what is the child here. We have children here, and everything must be done to provide the best opportunity for the child. And we have to encourage our women. We speak about the music and radio personalities. Sometimes radio personalities speak about relationship with only doom and gloom. There are no perfect man, no perfect woman, no perfect relationship. We don't have perfect children either. So if all the voices we are hearing are putting doom and gloom on the relationship and signing them off to fail, it is more difficult. Remember, we listen to radio stations every day, and then we turn on our telephones and go on TikTok and TikTok and social media. And if all you're hearing is doom and gloom, you who's struggling in a relationship, it is easier for you to lose hope. So for instance, you hear one incidence of an altercation with children every now and then, and you blame all children in Grenada. And that's why I make the point, perhaps it's less than 10% of the children. And we must come up with solution, what we need to do. We could control. There are some things that we cannot control. There are some things we could. Parents could control the music that are played in their home. You could play any music, but 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you don't want to hear who cock up on who. Somebody's songs, dog bathing, woman do bathing. She's a whore. I can't believe, for the life of me, I cannot understand when these songs playing in dances and you see them women whining at the songs. I think they should ask the DJ man to stop. Not these songs can't play here. I have been to school activities in yesteryear and I left. I thought the songs that there was unbecoming. It was not necessary. The principal of the school must control the songs that are being sung. I'm not saying that they have to be over extra conservative, but there are some songs that need to play 1 o'clock in the morning in the dance hall. Show me the tattoo below the navel. Now, when I go in dance, I want to see the tattoo below the navel too. but not in a school activity. Big by daylight, you're asking for tattoo below neighbor. And the soca men are giving instructions. Now, these same soca artists that is spouting from their mouth sheer vulgarity are being invited in the schools. How could we do that? We have these same soca artists that bombard the airways and our children ears with blues and smut and vulgarity. We legitimize them by bringing them in the school. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, scholar.
I'm so happy and pleased to hear you saying that because I myself listening to radio and some of the radio stations only this dancehall thing they playing. Wind up, cock back, this, that, and a woman. Where all those nice, great calypso Grenada have? Trinidad, all this nice thing you could gain something from. Only this dancehall thing we have to sometimes doesn't even play radio, are closing it. Honestly to tell you. Nothing interesting, nothing nice to hear. Thank you very much.
Yes, then when I want Calypso, come on Real FM. That's such a Real FM. That's the radio station that play the most local Calypso in Grenada. And then we can continue. We have to remember, we have a responsibility to our children. I'm so disappointed in some of our women. And I'm talking about our women with tertiary educated, the cream of the crop. They are in position in which they could speak out on certain issues. I'm not somebody who want to ban songs. I tell you, I want to see the tattoo below Shinable. But I will go and dance and see that 1 o'clock. They're taking instruction, the soca artists giving instruction. Go down so, go up so, wide down low, joke, how you want it, real hard. Now, these are the songs that are bombarding our children. Then remember, we have jab now almost every week. So your young child, 5 years old, they know all the names of the artists and the names of the soca songs. And the songs they are singing, I mean, it's real songs for blues. It's not songs that you should bombard your children in. Nothing is wrong in your child hearing this song on and off. But if you're giving them for tea, breakfast, and dinner, you might have a daughter that's whining like playing since she had 13 years. And then you're complaining when a man whining behind her like playing too. Because you practically culture that child with one genre of songs. Now, how could we do that? And then they say, another calypso tell you, open your business. And next one say, licks it. Now, listen to the young boys. Let's say between 6 and 9 years. Don't interrupt them for 1 hour if you could. And listen to the conversation. And you're going to hear the quality of the conversation and the negative comments they have about women, little children. You know, little boys saying, well, I want to give up me money. These songs coming from these little kids, this discussion coming from them based upon all what is going on in the environment. Now, we just had COVID-19. And irrespective of the fact that we said the older people are more likely to be more vulnerable from the pandemic disease, Jab felt Jab had the rights. And they could not have don't play Jab. And I think the whole culture and the whole environment are bombarded with one set of songs. And then our radio personalities are not very helpful. Most of them are not very helpful, in my opinion. They seem to be very pessimistic about relationship. When we have an incident of children or boys behaving bad, they're doing as if the whole world will end. They're asking for vengeance. They don't understand that as a society, we're supposed to strive for justice with compassion. You see a number of young boys going to the courthouse and the parents give up on them. These boys are in their 20s. And it seems as though all the family members give up on them. So the magistrate have to postpone cases because the boys are not dressed properly. And these are some of the challenges we have in society. Remember, 70% of the children that exit secondary school or exit school in Grenada, whether primary or secondary or college, do not meet the minimum requirements to be competitive on the job market. So it means they are already under pressure because they're struggling for a job. They're kind of unemployed. Now the dancehall music attract them is almost a rebellious music. So they want to tear down anybody. Successful people in the society are treated with contempt. And we laugh at it when it is convenient for us, particularly if it is politically convenient. The businessmen in the community are seen as enemies. So who are the models? The intelligentsia abscond the community. And then we have people where the dancehall music dominates the order of the day. So you're not hearing, as I go back on a lot of occasion, Sparrow song. Children go to school and learn well. Or it's Gypsy that sing Jigombo and Little Black Boy. Or even Crow, a violent song, but the meaning of it. Because he's saying the girl without a hand went to school and she's able to do well. So the music, our Calypsonian have not helped this struggle. They have not helped our struggle in helping to grow up our people. All the bars you could find, the music is generally same. You will not hear gentler oldie goldies or some of the soft reggae or calypso in these bars. It's fight music that playing there, Fight music. And when you drink confusion rum together with fight music, what you expect will happen? Confusion rum and fight music in the bar. So every time we see one incident that all the media house, because they do not want to report other things. So they report that, they highlight that. And Grenada is known for highlighting all our negatives. Barbados is very good in the Caribbean of hiding the negatives, but not Grenada. So an incident with a child and the police, everybody want to put it on Facebook as fast as it's good. They don't want solution. They want to speak about it over and over and to blacklist that boy. And sometimes it's difficult for him to be reformed because of our unforgiving and unpardoning attitude in our society. And I believe we could do much better. Again, the gentleman asked me about Dominica, and I want to come back to it. The Prime Minister of Dominica must recognize that this economic period of time is a harsh period in the world. We have a war going on between Ukraine and Russia that is likely to escalate. In addition to that, we have a lot of shortage that are likely to come into the Caribbean. Because of our culture, we cannot escape these shortages. In Grenada here, we want macaroni pie. We don't want yam pie. We will not eat the local things that we have. Dominica is the same thing. So the Prime Minister must be looking carefully at the political situation, but he is relating it to the economic situation in the world. And he's thinking this perhaps is my most appropriate time to call election early. He might feel that the opposition is not as ready as they could be. Coming right in front of Christmas time, there is also additional work created by government for people to get some more money to spend in Christmas. I think he created some better benefits with pension and skirt in the politics long. And he must feel, let me call a snap election. Let me call all election. It would increase my chance of coming back in power. And no one could blame him, because within the Constitution, the Prime Minister have the say to call election. Election is not as fixed. You don't have a fixed date like in the United States of America. That is the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister call alone. So a Prime Minister always have to call election when he thinks it is in his party best interest. So I'm not surprised that he called election at that time. I've been looking at Dominica, and Dominica been doing fairly well. In fact, the OECS countries have tried well under this economic situation. In Grenada here, in Dominica, Antigua, and most of these leaders have a fair measure experience in politics. Even Pierre, Joseph Pierre, I think, in St. Lucia, he has been in politics a long time. So these individuals have a fair measure of, Dominica also sell passport, and they are doing well from it. But that doesn't mean if this situation deteriorate, United States could stop the sale of passport. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier, I think last year, earlier this year, when you had a lot of disturbances on the island, and people were saying it's because they were dissatisfied with the government. In fact, the opposition was saying that because they were dissatisfied with the government, that's why they were behaving that way. And those incidences were placed on the internet quickly to show how unpopular the government was. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yes. And so then the teachers took over. The teachers took over, and they were showing how disruptive they could be.
Yeah.
And how disorganized the country was. Yes, the teachers were doing that. The students were watching them, you know. The students were watching what the teachers were doing. Those lady teachers too, like you say, they were in the dance hall too and doing the thing, you know. Following the instructions that were given to them too, you know. Those lady teachers, they were in the dance hall following the instructions that were given to them by the soca artists. No, it became very, very uncomfortable for them to be trying to discipline the students right now. And so you have an island where even the government now is somewhat dismayed at the fact that, look, it's not the NNP anymore, but it's us, and we have to deal with it. And so disturbances that's going around now is the same thing that was going on then, and in fact, it seems to be getting worse right now. And so we have to look at some ways of correcting it. And if the teachers were given monies, that they behave, maybe we could find some money to give the students for them to behave good too.
Well, I think it is sad when these things happen. In some way, all of us contributed to this bad behavior, and perhaps all of us must try to correct it or arrest it, because it could only deteriorate. I've been saying that in 10 years, you're going to see the true impact of the teachers abandoning and declaring war on psychological war on our children. I say in 10 years. We have a situation now that I object to passionately. is government incorporating political victimization as part of the modus operandi, because I know it's going to have serious consequences on the ground, you know? And these things, all of them adds up to making us the people we are. You have a radio station that's been preaching only what I consider as hate, encouraging people to go wrong because of their political reasons. We have a call on the line, and caller, that would be our last call. Punch.
Thank you. Thank you very kindly, Mr. Pierre. Good evening. Good day, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Pierre, I want to congratulate you on a job well done. First and foremost, I like the attitude that you display, the correct notion that you put forward. Now, as a young man growing up, I recall going to school, and I see a policeman walking in uniform, much less in uniform. And I cross the other side because I'm afraid of the policeman. Today, I am seeing altercations with students, young men going to school, squaring up in front of a police with uniform, taking, punching, and the policeman. I am not saying who. I am saying all of us are human beings. But when the police are there to enforce the law, and they ask you to move from a particular area, and you don't move, the police has the right to ask you to push you out or shove you out or ask you to get home. After hours, we're talking about children lying all kind of 6 and 7 o'clock on the bus terminus, all over Grenada, behind the bus terminal, all about. And they are not going home
Yes,
after
caller.
school.
Yes, caller. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes, we have to urge our young men to control themselves, to function as a model of good deeds with every respect, with integrity, dignity, how they speak. We have to try our best to encourage them, because we live in a world that way we are permanently under the scrutiny of the media. And what you say and what you do now could affect you permanently. And this job is not a job for the police alone. The police in Grenada has been doing a very good job. The police, in terms of crime in the Caribbean, Grenada police is well respected. They have to continue to build on what they have. But we in our country must try to support and encourage people to do well without panicking and without making things worse. We thank you very much, and all our people from Carriacou in the market. We do not forget all those who worry that they will lose their job before Christmas. We want to encourage you to continue listening to On Target.
We dance and we play. We relate to each other. Rest in your way. Today, as a people united as one, determined and steadfast we stand. We look to a brand new horizon. The future now firmly in our hands. Raise your voices high.